Bowling for Dollars will not be seen this evening, so that we may bring you the following special program: The Flight of Reindeer8, a special KSTP Christmas story. Here is news anchorman Ron Majors.
Welcome back, and now to bring you up to date on the big story of this day. Several months ago, we received this brochure in the mail, and of specific interest, we received this letter. It's signed by S. Claus, and it offered us here at KSTP the chance to go to the North Pole on this Christmas Eve and actually broadcast the preparation and the liftoff of Santa and his Reindeer8 on their annual trek. So we sent Marcia Fleur, Lou Harvin, Bob Clark, and Don Beeler to the North Pole. They arrived last night. If everything's going okay, we ought to be able to switch to Don Beeler. Don?
What you're seeing now are the first pictures ever of Santa's home and workshop. These pictures, Ron, were taken last night as we came in, and I guess our first impression of the Claus complex is that it's just immense. Now, the complex is deep down inside a frozen valley, surrounded by high ice walls. It would be extremely difficult to take off in a bad snowstorm, but right now it's clear up here. Now, this is the factory. This is where all the toys are made. This building is the place where all the completed toys are wrapped. The toys then go to distribution. It's there that the name of each boy and girl is checked off with what it is that he or she wants this year. That building, the one you see right there, is the readying room. Santa puts on his special red uniform. That's where he gets his final route briefing and his final weather check before he heads up to the launch complex.
Okay, Don, this is Ron Majors. Where are you going to be tonight?
Ron, I'll be in the basement of that building you're looking at right now, here in Mission Control. I'll be able to talk to the Mission Control Director, who is, by the way, a lady elf. And I'll be able to talk with the weather elf, who is over here on my left. From here, I'll be able to coordinate the activities of all our reporters throughout this huge complex. And by the way, Ron, we're at 13 minutes, 35 seconds and counting, and everything is going smoothly.
All right, Don, we now know that our communications link is up and everything is okay to the North Pole, so let's check in with our other source. That's the North American Air Defense Command, or NORAD for short. Now, they track everything flying into North America, and on this night, they keep a protective radar eye on Santa. Lieutenant LeBlanc should be there, and Lieutenant, can you hear Don Beeler and me? Are you ready there?
Ron Majors at KSTP, Don Beeler at the North Pole. This is Lieutenant LeBlanc at NORAD. I hear you both very well, and I presume you hear me as well. We are standing by for any sightings. We have Santa Claus's flight plan, and we'll be able to warn him of any aircraft in his vicinity and snowstorms. As you know, we must check for any aircraft entering the North American continent, but Santa Claus doesn't have any electronic identifier, even though we've been after him to have one installed for years.
NORAD, this is Don Beeler at the North Pole. Santa carries only a small handheld radio. To do more would simply weigh him down, and that would take up space for toys.
Well, we understand that, Mr. Beeler, but it would be safer if the gentleman had one installed.
Well, gentlemen, I think our lines of communications are all working okay, and we won't argue about the safety regulations right now. But, Don, maybe you'd give us a quick tour of Mission Control, since we'll be seeing a lot of that in the next half hour.
I guess the one to really do that would be the Mission Control elf. Could you explain this complex to us?
Sure. Should start with the status board. This is a status board. Each area has a light. A green light and a red light. When the area is cleared and is all set to go, the green light comes on. That's materials, always one of the first to light up.
So each area has its own set of lights?
Yep, each has a switch and a set of lights. If a red light comes on, that means something's wrong. It goes on hold. And we stop everything until we figure out what's wrong and take care of the problem. Behind me is a board to light up landing and strip lights. Over here is a weather control elf.
We might ask the weather control elf, how far can you track Santa?
About 250 miles. That's when NORAD begins to pick him up.
Well, why not just look out the window? Why have radar at all?
This is the North Pole, Mr. Beeler. We have weather coming in here all over the globe, and when it hits up here, the weather can really change in a hurry.
Are you saying that it can be clear 1 minute and a storm 5 minutes later?
Oh, yeah, sometimes even quicker than that.
Have you ever had a problem in which Santa would be forced to hold?
Well, the blizzards up here are really terrible, but we've never had one on Christmas Eve yet.
Don, this is Marcia. I'm in the readying room. Santa Claus just walked in a couple minutes ago. I'm going to try to get an interview with him if you like.
Please do,
Don't
Marcia.
He just walked behind the curtain.
Marcia, I'd really like you to stay on that. This is the closest we've been to him all day.
Don, right now we're in the readying room. Santa's almost all dressed right now. So far, he's put on 3 pair of underwear, several pairs of socks, the belt. Pretty soon, Santa will be coming out. This is the dressing elf right here. Dressing elf. Excuse me, dressing elf.
All the way over the years.
Does he always have to dress this warmly?
Always, every year. We give him 3 gallons of chicken soup if he doesn't. Here come the electric socks. Electric socks this year.
Oh, electric. Electric.
Last year,
Electric. Is that safe? Have you tested the electric?
Got a guarantee from Minnesota. Got a guarantee
That ought to be good enough for us. Santa should be just about coming out.
Woo!
Santa. Excuse me, Santa. Right now, it seems we're going to be checking the weather schedule. If I can just get Santa. Excuse me, Santa, if you wouldn't mind. Are you ready? Mittens are ready. Santa, are you quite ready for this?
Oh, we're having a good time. Thank you.
Yes, but.
There's little Johnny.
We seem to be doing a weather check. I believe he goes from east to west to catch.
This is Mission Control. We are at 10 minutes to liftoff and holding.
What does that mean, dressing elf?
Something's gone wrong in the system. Everything's on hold till it's fixed.
Don, we better go back to Mission Control.
Ron, I don't know if we can get a picture from down at the stable. Marcia's over in readying. Lou Harvin is down in distribution. Bob Clark was supposed to be in loading. We're flat running out of people. I don't know if we can get you a picture from the stable.
Well, I have to apologize. I thought we had the communications link up, but obviously something has gone wrong at this point, and
well, maybe I can help you down there. There is a card right next to you. It shows how we get our signal out of the North Pole. Maybe I can show you either I think what's gone wrong.
That's, by the way, that's J.B. Eckert, our producer, who you can hear but can't see.
Okay, now up at the North Pole there are no telephones, so what we've had to use is satellites. Now, because the North Pole itself, the complex is down in a valley, the Santa's elves are manning a balloon, which is 200 miles down range from the pole itself. So our signal's going from the pole to the balloon, then retransmitted all the way down to the ComSat satellite over the Pacific, then down to California, then back up to the Western Union satellite, then down to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and then AT&T brings it over to us. Now, the weak link, Ron, is that balloon. If that should get blown around, the dishes turn and we lose our signal to the pole, and I think that's probably what happened. Now, it may take a couple of minutes to get it back, and maybe at this point we should take a break.
Okay, I agree with you entirely, J.B. So what we will do is try and reestablish that link and resume our special Christmas story, The Flight of Reindeer 8, in just a moment.
KSTP's Christmas story, The Flight of Reindeer 8, continues. Here is Ron Majors.
Well, we are still trying to get our signal back from the North Pole, where our Channel 5 News team is waiting to cover the actual liftoff of Santa. And
Ron, the signal's coming back. We were right. There was a storm, and the storm is heading toward the North Pole, and it moved the balloon around, but the signal is coming back. Why don't you give Don a buzz again? Try him again.
All right, J.B. Don Beeler, we think we have the communication link back up. Can you hear me at the North Pole? Are you there, Don Beeler?
Ron, we're in the midst of a hold here. I hope you can receive our signal and picture. Let me see if I can find out what the problem is. Can you give us the problem on the hold, Weather Elf?
Yeah, they were trying some new plastic runners, and they didn't work. The glue wasn't holding, you see, but they got the old hickory ones back on. It'll be okay.
Now we're in good shape?
This is Mission Control. We are at 8 minutes to launch. All lights so far are green. This is Mission Control out.
So we are at 8 minutes until lunch. The sleigh has been checked. The reindeer have been checked. Santa is reportedly suited up, and everything looks like it is going fine here at the North Pole. We are 7 minutes and about 40 seconds from lunch.
Yeah, the weather's fine, Mr. Beeler. We've got that snow squall. We haven't found it yet, but we think we're going to get it in just a few minutes. Everything's just fine.
Yeah, we're in good shape. All the pilots know, all the airlines, we notified them 6 months ago. We're in good shape.
Well, Now that it seems that that momentary crisis has been solved, let's go back where we were going a few moments ago, Ron. How exactly does that huge bag that Santa carries get filled with all the presents? How do the boys and girls get what it is they want? That's the story we sent Lou Harvin on down to distribution a few moments ago. It's pretty quiet down there now because they've pretty well done their work, and things have leveled off down there. So let's go down to Lou Harvin in distribution.
Excuse me, Alf, I'd like to talk to you about your...
No, I've got to stop the mission. I've got to stop the mission. Yes.
What do you mean stop the mission?
Why? What happened? Because
Why did you tell us that you just stopped the whole mission?
Well, I forgot a boy in Minneapolis named Todd, and he's supposed to be getting a truck.
Hurry, go get it. Hurry, go get it. Okay, hurry. He didn't have to do that.
What happens now?
Well, he just stopped the mission, and we didn't have to stop because we could have gotten the gift later when the whole mission was done, but he stopped the whole thing. And now he's got to go to another complex in this place, and then he's got to go to the place where they have the trucks. He's got to just get a little truck, and it won't take long because it's just a truck. But then he's got to get it and then have the elves check it off on this box here. And then after that, he's got to go to this other building way on the other side there where they've got the wrapping. And there's 2 elves there that do the wrapping because one of them has to put the paper on the package and put the ribbon on it too. And then there's this other elf, and he has to put the name of Santa and the child on the card, and then they put the card on the package. And then the elf there has to check it off, and then he's got to come all the way back here, and I have to check it off in distribution. Why did you do that?
There's sugar cookies.
What's the thing about
I think we made it.
special
Wait, check it off
marks
so I can get it out to load.
Marks, how do you figure out what kid gets what?
Thank you.
Oh, well, there's a building way on the other side of the complex, and I've never been there. He's never been there. The only person that goes in there is Santa Claus, and they have big lists for all the children in the world, and they can tell if you've been good or bad all year, and then they put your name and they check your name on the lists.
Lou?
But I've never been
This
there.
is Bob Clark in loading.
Yeah, Bob.
That package you just sent from distribution has arrived, and if you want me to, I can continue the story from here.
Yeah, Bob, you might as well. I think you can handle it better there. We're going to go to Bob Clark now in loading.
Thanks, Lou. I'm in loading with the chief loading elf. And
This is for Minnesota.
this just came up. We seem to have a problem here. Let's see if we can find out what the problem is. He seems very excited. Sir,
Put something in the middle of the bag.
Sir, excuse me, calm down. Is there a problem with the Minnesota package that you just had there?
He wanted Minnesota. He brings me now. It goes in the middle of the bag.
So what's the problem?
Not on the bottom of the bag. We load the bag from the bottom. All the presents get delivered first in the country are on the top. Now they're going to have to take all those presents out and fix it so that Minnesota, the one he brings me now, should have been California. I got to put it in the middle of the bag.
Okay, I understand. Let me ask you one quick question while you get straightened out here with the Minnesota package.
Yes.
Have you got anything new in this department this year? New?
Oh, we have. We
What
have
is that?
something new. It's the bag.
The bag?
The bag that the presents go in. It's made of some new material.
Yeah.
It's strong material, and it's thin material, and we can carry a lot more presents, which is fantastic, except for one thing.
What's that?
We haven't tested it enough.
This is an untested bag?
An untested bag. It could break. It could break.
Don, that's a major surprise to me. This bag is untested. It could break. We'll just have to follow it from here. Back to you.
Thanks, Bob. We have just received word, and incidentally, we'll keep an eye on that bag. We have just received word that Santa is on his way to the launch area, the long walk. He has said goodbye to Mrs. Claus, and Marcia Fleur is on hand with that wonderful lady.
Okay, Don, I'm ready. I'm here tonight with Mrs. Claus. She's just sent Santa off on his historic journey. How do you feel right now?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Looks like we're getting some orders from Mission Control right now. Do you send him off with any special food, or is dinner enough?
No, I don't send him off with any special food because all the children have milk and hot chocolate and cookies and donuts and everything.
He eats all that?
Oh, he eats everything all over the country. And he comes back like this.
Bigger than when he left?
Bigger than when he left.
Do you ever get nervous on nights like this? There's a storm brewing and...
Well, no, not really, but...
I don't believe you. I think you do get nervous. Aren't you afraid he'll get lost and not come back?
Oh, no. He'll always come back.
Have you ever wanted to go along with you?
Yes, I have.
Did you ask?
I asked. And he said, sure, if I could find a place. But I couldn't find a place on the sleigh because of all the presents.
Thank you for leaving room for our presents. And now back to you, Don, at Mission Control.
Okay, Marcia, you might as well stay down there for the launch. You're so close you can probably just sneak outside the door and get a good picture. Bob Clark, are you on the line?
I can hear you, Don, but we're on our way to the launch area right now. It's impossible for me to do anything. Just give me a couple minutes to get set up and we'll get back to you.
Lou Harvin, you'd better start heading down towards that pacing sled.
Yeah, Don, we're getting ready to go outside right now. I'm going on the chase sled, and we should be in position in a minute or two, okay?
NORAD, are you on the line? Is NORAD ready?
Don Beeler at the North Pole. This is Lieutenant LeBlanc at NORAD. We're ready. But if he takes off in a snowstorm, we may not be able to track him till he breaks through. We may not be able to tell if he gets off the ground.
No argument, NORAD. Let's see if we can check on that.
This is weather control. This is weather control. We have a snow squall entering the complex.
This is Mission Control. This is Mission Control. We are 2 minutes, 45 seconds, and counting. The flight is still go at this time. Mission Control out.
We have a little more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds until launch, Ron. It's going to take that long for us to get our people into position, so we're going to take a break up here. This is Don Beeler in Mission Control with the flight of Reindeer 8.
Channel 5's Christmas story, The Flight of Reindeer 8, continues. From the North Pole, here is Don Beeler.
Ron, we are at 50 seconds and holding. 50 seconds to launch and holding. I hear our signal is breaking. Can you hear me, Ron?
Don, I can still hear you, and it appears to be holding pretty well. I'd like to stay with you as long as we can. We will stand by, though. You say you have a hold. Do you know where that's from at this point?
Ron, it's in the launch area. Bob Clark is standing by there.
Don, I'm in the launch room, and there seems to be a real problem with Santa's electric socks from Minnesota. Let's see if we can find out what it is.
Looking for a short? There's no short.
Is there a problem with the socks?
I can't get them to work. I just don't know what's wrong in them. Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Oh, it looks like the bag's ripped now, too, on top of that. Loading now. Loading now.
Oh, I knew I should have pressed it. What's
the matter?
It ripped. Look, give me the tape. Give me the tape. It ripped just like I said it was going to do. It ripped. I knew we should have taken it.
Can you fix this?
We're gonna try and fix it by using tape. I'm gonna need some tape. Give me the tape. Give me the tape. Oh, just a second. We're gonna try the tape, and if it's got a hold, it's got. Oh,
I think it's going to work. Try the tape.
Oh no, it's not going to work.
Don, I don't know if they're going to be able to get the bag fixed in time. Let's see what's happening with the socks, if anything. Anything happening here with the socks?
Nothing yet.
You can't figure it out?
Wait. Are the socks hooked up to the batteries?
Mission Control seems to be asking him a question about the socks and the batteries.
Socks are hooked up. Wait.
Have you got batteries for the power source?
Of course I've got batteries. Check. Yes, A-OK on the batteries.
That's not it?
No.
Mission Control. How about the switch? Is the switch on?
Is the switch on? Is the switch isn't on.
Is that it?
No, that's it. The switch is on.
Does that make it better?
Oh, that feels wonderful.
Are the socks working?
Oh, Bob, these are great. You get yourself a pair of these.
Okay, Santa. Well, at least we've got the socks fixed. Let's see how they're making out with the bag now.
Bob, I don't know if you heard that, but the weather is closing and closing fast. Now, are those people going to be ready to launch?
Scissors.
Are you going to make the launch?
I think we're going to make it. I think we got it all sewn up nice.
There may be a storm coming. Are you going to make it if there's a storm?
I think we'll make it. Even with a storm, we'll make it.
Okay, thank you very much. Don, we can't tell for sure, but it looks like they might make launch now. Let's see. Here comes the launch elf.
I do believe we're going to make it. It's getting very close, but I think we might make it.
It looks good, Don. How about that weather situation back where you are?
Okay, Bob, let's slide over here and talk to the weather elf. Is that system bad enough to keep Santa grounded?
Well, almost any system that moves in like this one is bad enough to do that. This one's pretty strong and quite high. See, what we're afraid of is that if Santa takes off in this kind of weather, then we're not going to be able to track him.
Well, NORAD says they can't track him either.
Well, that's got us worried, too. See, if he could fly around for hours, we wouldn't even know where he was. He wouldn't know whether he was up, down, which way he was going.
Who has the final say on whether or not he goes?
Santa does. We can tell him not to go, but if he wants to go, he goes.
Don, I heard what you were saying. Santa Claus is right here. Let me ask him if he's going to go or not. Santa,
Excuse me, everybody has to get out of here.
I just want to ask Santa Claus one question,
They're
okay?
hooking up the reindeer. They're hooking up the reindeer.
If I can't ask him, can I ask you just one question?
Okay, very quickly. I don't have much time.
Just this one question. Is Santa Claus going to make this launch or not tonight?
Is he going to make the launch?
Yeah.
He's never failed to make a launch in all the years he's been flying.
Okay, back to you, Don.
It's quite probable that Santa will launch tonight. Lou Harvin, are you ready?
Don, we're having a little trouble out here with the gear. It's so cold on this chase sled. The wind is strong, and I tell you, it's snowing out here, but they think they're going to have a picture any second now.
Marcia, are you ready?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear you, Don. Listen, we've got a little problem here. We're 50...
We have a go from launch, and
They're going to go, and we can't see it. We're only 50 feet from the runway, and the snow's coming down like 60. We can't see anything out there. Even if we could get out there, we couldn't film anything. Listen.
Don, Santa has just given the thumbs up sign, and he's going, storm or no.
Okay, Bob, we'll listen to the countdown.
We got a picture.
We'll listen to the count. Thanks, Lou. We'll listen to the countdown, and when we get to 5 seconds, it's all yours.
Stand by the door. Santa, check your radio. Hookup handlers ready? Status board is all green.
This is Tech Sergeant Chase, NORAD
10,
Combat Operations Center
9,
Duty Control, standing
8,
by.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
runway lights on. Doors open.
Bob, what happened? For Pete's sake, I can't see anything.
Don, it's so bright out there, I can't believe it. I can't see anything either, not a thing.
Don, we've just started moving out here on the chase sled. I tell you, I've never seen anything go so fast. Hey, we're catching up with him. Hey, we've got a picture on him. Hey, he's having trouble with his reins. He's holding his reins and the radio. Oh, he's having trouble with his radio. I don't know how fast he's going, but we're going to lose that picture because once he gets past the end of that lighted runway, we're going to lose him. I tell you, we're going to lose him. There he goes.
Listen, let's go! Rudolph, get your nose on ready. It's time. We're coming near the valley wall. It's a big load tonight. Move, boys. Lift, lift.
How do we know if he's up?
We don't. We don't know a thing until he calls on the radio. And it sounded like that fell. If it's broken, he has no backup. We have no contact, and he's got the largest load of toys ever. And only a few thousand feet on the other side of the lighted runway to get airborne and make it over the valley walls.
Weather Elk, can you see anything?
Nothing.
I expect not in this storm.
Mission Control, this is Santa. Mission Control, Santa. We have liftoff.
This is Weather Control to Mr. Claus. Are you out of the storm?
Not yet, fellas. In this storm, I'm not sure which way is up.
This is the NORAD Combat Operations Center. We are monitoring your radio signals. We do not have the Jolly Man on radar as yet.
This is Mission Control to Mr. Claus. You are 200 miles downrange. You are off our scope.
This is Santa to Mission Control. I'm through, and it's a beautiful, cold, clear night out.
This is the NORAD Combat Operations Center. We have an unknown track on the scopes. If it's Santa, he is way off course. We are scrambling fighter interceptors from Iceland to search and make visual contact.
This is Santa to Mission Control. I think I'm going to have company.
This is Black Knight Leader. We have a visual contact with your unknown track, and we confirm it is Jolly Man. We have him 500 miles east of scheduled flight plan. His coursers are pulling strongly, the runners look like they're in good shape, and the pilot is happy and smiling. There does appear to be a rip in the bag, but the sewing is holding. This is Black Knight Leader breaking off and returning to base.
All right.
Okay. All right. There you have it. It's been a long couple of days and a very anxious last hour. But finally, despite all the difficulties, Santa's on his way. So for all our reporters here, Bob Clark and Lou Harvin and Marcia Fleur, and for Ron Majors back at the studio, and for all the elves and all the Clauses here at the complex, I'm Don Beeler, Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
Hi, how are you? Let's go, Robert. Let's
Oh, let me have a cookie. Let me have a cookie. I'll take one. Oh, yes, tremendous. Hold it. He's on a speaker.
Santa to Claus Complex. Everything is fine. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'm back on the course, ready to make my first landing. Don't wait up for me. I'll be a while. So happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Oh!